70% of divorces are filed by women. And I know men are going to push back and say that's part of the problem. But let's not also forget that women are 70% more likely to ask their partners to go to counseling with them. And what do you think the percentages are that the man has any desire to go?
Why get a divorce after 25 years of marriage? The short answer is because it is not too late to be happy. And I finally got to a point at the beginning of the year where I decided that it wasn't too late to be happy. I still have, hopefully, many more years left, and I would like to be happy for those years. And that was never going to happen inside my current marriage. No matter how many wonderful people, supportive people, positive people you surround yourself with, it will never have as much of an impact if you have toxic people in your home. And the two most toxic people in my life, two most toxic adults in my life, live in my home with me right now. And my husband was definitely someone that sabotaged all of my efforts to try and get healthy, to try and feel better, to be more successful, to be happy. I don't know whether it was intentional or not, and it really doesn't matter at this point. I want to be happy. I want to be hopeful. I want to surround myself with people and experiences and success and love and peace that I will never be able to find if I stay married. And so we're getting a divorce, and the best way I can really describe that experience of 25 years, it's like climbing or riding in a roller coaster to the highest peak, and it's just one click at a time, one thing at a time, and then you finally get to the top, and that's the tipping point. There is no going back. There's nothing to fix, no desire anymore to try and fix things. You've already put in that effort, and it's a free fall to a new life and new experiences, and I am so looking forward to those. And so today I am really grateful for the new experiences I am about to have, because I am going to be able to surround myself with wonderful people and amazing experiences. So please tell me what you are grateful for today.
How many second marriages do you get as a divorce lawyer coming in for consultations?
Let's put it this way. As a divorce lawyer, I see consistent themes, right? And that's part of the reason why I give some relationship advice too. I see reasons why relationships fail. That's not a consistent theme that I see. Do I see second marriages? Yes. Relatively regularly? Yes. What I'm seeing now more as a theme is the working mom doing it all, everything, and making all the money, and the husband not engaging. That's what I'm seeing. That's the theme I'm seeing. Second marriage is not necessarily, but first marriage is where mom's doing it all.
For those of you that don't know me, my name's Lauren. I'm a weight loss influencer, and I lost 87 pounds and also happened to get divorced. So let's go way back to the beginning. I met my ex-husband in college my first semester in 2014. We got married May 1st of 2017. We were in college at Missouri State at the time, and he just grabbed my promise ring and asked me to marry him, and then a week later told me he wanted to join the Army. So, which we had been dating for 3 years. I loved him. He was the love of my life. So I said, yes, love is all we need, right? So I dropped out of college. I got my associates in general studies, but never finished my bachelor's at Missouri State, and went on to become an Army wife. And got it in my head that I needed a baby instantly, since I was leaving my family to go move somewhere in the country, which, what was wrong with me? I was 21 years old and demanding a baby. Anyway, son was born in March of 2018, and by March of 2020, I wanted a divorce. Our marriage just started feeling like we were roommates. We literally didn't have any intimacy. We didn't seem to have much in common anymore. We didn't even like listening to the same music. We didn't have fun together anymore. He had his own struggles with mental health during our whole relationship, and it started to rub off on me, which sounds so bad, but I tried to take care of his needs for so long. I would literally wrap this man up in blankets and give him baths and wash his whole body and hold him tight in Walmart. I did a lot of things for him. And then when I was struggling, where was he for me? I loved this man. I was literally obsessed with him. letting our relationship get to like that roommate level is what really ruined it. And I tried telling him. He'd come home from work and just instantly sit in his recliner and be on his phone, and I said, hey, like, I need attention, I'm starting to be unhappy. Oh, okay. Weeks go by, nothing really changes. So I'm like, hey, I'm starting to like think about life without you. Like, it's getting worse. I need attention. Like, let's do something fun together. Still, like, nothing. Hey, I'm starting to imagine what life would be like with another man. Like, I'm falling out of love with you. We need to fix this. Still nothing. Or he would like do better for a week and then just go back to being lazy all the time. Around the same time too is when I started wanting to do better for myself and lose weight and find myself again. And I felt like he just has a very like low vibration personality and gets stressed out really easily. And I felt like every single day, like his negativity was bringing me down when I was trying so hard to like find my happiness again. Like, I'd wake up ready to have a good day and his attitude instantly just like ruined it for me. And like back to the whole intimacy thing, I tried telling him like, hey, I Googled it. I said, we need to start planning this because apparently like the less you do it, the less you want it. The more you do it, the more you want it. So let's schedule it. He came home from work one day and I said, hey, can we do it later? Like, let's plan to do it. Oh, sure, maybe. Well, after dinner, he's using the bathroom and I'm folding laundry at the kitchen table and I got a book idea. So I bust into the bathroom because we're comfortable with each other like that to tell him my book idea, only to find him like this. Broke my heart. I cried so much. There were so many times I would just lay in our bed alone crying, feeling so unwanted, so unloved, just wanting to be touched, wanting to be wanted. Our relationship had other problems too, and of course I had my own like toxic energy I brought to the relationship, but I'm the one who asked for a divorce, and like that is why I wanted it for the most part. Like, I was tired of my feelings being hurt, tired of the grumpy attitude all the time, tired of the laziness, like not helping me do anything around the house, which I'm a stay-at-home wife, or I was a stay-at-home mom. But if I need help cleaning out a room upstairs, don't say like next weekend, then that weekend comes, next weekend, then that weekend comes. No, next weekend. Like, no, help a bitch out. Like, come on. My ex is a good man, and I hope he finds a woman that is on the same vibration as him, and I will welcome her into my heart with loving arms. I want my child to have a good stepmom. I want to have a good relationship with her, and I have a great relationship with my ex-husband. Okay, I say great. It's more so like brother and sister, that like love-hate relationship. Like, we fight a lot, but if one of us ever needed something, like, we know we could call each other.
I knew when I really started to focus on my happiness. I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay. But at the end of the day, it's about self-love. And when you start to really work on yourself, love yourself, know your value, know your worth, and then all of a sudden there's this awakening. Wow. And it's not easy. It's a hard journey, but at the end of the day, I feel like it is so, so worth it.
So I was married, and it was not amicable. The divorce was not amicable. Let me be clear, you, Paul. And I will not go into details on why he was a piece of but one of my favorite things to talk about, which was literally one of the least concerning things about being with him, was that I was a sugar mama. I paid for that boy's school. He didn't work like the entire time. I took him around the world on vacations. Like, I would be straight up just typing away, working at my computer on my birthday every single year. Well, that boy just played Xbox, watched YouTube. One time there was a 3-month period where he literally spent $10,000. When we got divorced, his like best friends confided in me that like he is in fact a piece of and that like he's a friend that like they keep at arm's distance. And he had like a new girlfriend within a week of moving out of my house. They got married like less than a year of moving out of my house. Like the divorce, they got engaged like a couple months after our divorce went through, I swear to God. But I remember one of his best friends, which by the way, Paul, if you're ever seeing this, your friends hate you, just so you know, because you suck. One of his best friends sat me down and he was like, I just like can't wait for you to like do your thing, move across the country and just like make a shit ton of money. Like if Paul's new wife like dumped him, I hope you know he would just pick up a new girl the next day. Like women are disposable to him. And he's like, I just can't wait for you to like live your life. And now I just think about the fact that like one, I finally figured out I'm a lesbian. He didn't know that. Don't worry, that was not the cause of the divorce. I've moved across the country. I live in New York. even though he robbed me blind, like I was a sugar mama through and through, I earned like multiple times more than I did even then. I live in a luxury apartment in New York City. I like travel the world. I'm just vibing. And that boy's living in a house that yet another wife bought him. And he will probably never leave. The saddest part of Utah ever. And when Taylor Swift said, Karma is my boyfriend, she actually meant Karma is my girlfriend, because gay. And man, Karma really does, she gets you in the end.
I post a lot of my disaster dating stories, but probably one of the most powerful stories is the story of how I got divorced. I moved to LA when I was 25 years old, and 3 weeks after I got here, I met a man who was a television agent, and he ended up being my best friend. He was super funny. We had a lot of energy together, so we did lots of fun things. Everything was like wonderful and great. And after 3.5 years of dating, we ended up getting married. Married life was pretty good. Like, we were both really career centric, and so our careers were going amazing. And then we decided that we were going to have kids, and then we had 2 kids, 2 daughters. So when our daughters were 1 and 4, things started to be a little bit weird. So he suggested that we start going to couples therapy, which we did. And that's when things started to get really weird. And he was saying things like, you know, you should have more sex with me because I'm Superman in the bedroom. And I'm thinking, like, I'm looking at him like. He also said things like, oh, you know, if we get divorced, you're going to be destitute because like everything that we have is mine. So you're not going to have anything. So that caused me to do a little bit of digging. So I went to our money manager because we had a lot of money at that point. And I went to our money manager and I said, can you please give me all of the withdrawals from this account for the last 2 years? And he did. So he basically sent me the withdrawals, 3 of which I recognized. And the 4th one was a check to Tiffany around Valentine's Day, you know, the jewelry store. So I thought to myself, God, had he gotten me anything from Tiffany? So I checked our bank accounts and no, he didn't. He actually got me a Burke Williams gift card, which I remember vividly because he was really pissed that I took too long when I went to go get my massage. So clearly I sent him the charge and I was like, any idea what this is for? He replies and says, oh, we can talk about it when I get home. So he comes home later that night and he's acting super weird and he starts packing a bag and he says, something tells me that you're not going to want to see much of me after we have our conversation. And then we both kind of go in separate rooms because I'm putting our youngest daughter, who's 1 at the time, to bed, and he's putting our oldest daughter, who's 4, to bed. So after I put our youngest daughter to bed, I decide that basically he's definitely cheating on me and he's pretty much going to leave, and that I was kind of like, F it. So I hear his phone buzz in his jacket pocket. So I'm like, I've never checked his phone before, but there's a first for everything. So I went right to that phone. And in his pocket, I found a letter addressed to me, which I opened and read. And it basically said that he had been cheating on me, but who it was with and how long it was going on for was none of my business. And I was like hell it's not. So I searched his phone. I couldn't find anything. I finally went to his email drafts and I found an email that he had sent to his former assistant that basically was asking her for more time to leave me so he could be with her. So I did what any scorned wife would do. I forwarded that email to myself. I decided that I needed to make sure that I had all of our financial records, and I didn't know where he kept them. And I noticed that when I went out to our filing cabinet, he actually had taken all of our financial records from the house. So I was like PI mode. I went out to his car, and in his car, I found all of our financial records, and I stashed them in the house before he came out. So he sits me down on the couch and he's being all melodramatic and he hands me this letter, which by the way, I'd already read. And he's like, here you go. So I pretend to read the letter for the 2nd time. And then when I get to the end of the letter, I say, actually, I have something that I would like to read to you. And I started reading the email that I found about him talking to his former assistant about leaving me. And he says, well, it looks like somebody snooped through my phone. So when he leaves after we get in this big fight about him cheating, he goes out to his car and he realizes that I have all of his financial records. And so he is like trying to get back in the house and I'm holding the deadbolt and I'm like, get the hell out of here. Finally, he leaves and I go and I check that folder. And in that folder, I found all of his passcodes. So I found every single correspondence that he had with her that was like basically plotting how he was going to get out. I knew when it started. I knew how long it went on for. I found out everything. And being cheated on for 2 years is really shitty. But really what made the whole situation worse was 5 days later, my mom died suddenly. So in the matter of a week, I not only lost my husband, I lost my mom. And I said to myself, I was like, I am not going down like this. Like, the narrative of life after divorce was either like, marry a rich guy so you can have financial security. I already did that. That sucked. I'm not doing that again. Or be alone and like have 12 cats. And I don't even like cats, so that's not happening. So I decided that I was going to create a new narrative for life post-divorce. And I was going to share everything, like the good parts, the bad parts, the entire freaking journey. Because life after divorce doesn't have to be terrible. And whether or not I'm like posting things about disaster dates or about my kids or about my divorce story, you know, I know that I deserve to be happy. And that doesn't mean that it has to be centered around some dude. I'm happy here. And I'm going to continue to be happy. And I'm going to share all of it. Because ultimately, we're not alone in this. We're never alone. We all go through the same things.
I've been married and divorced 3 times. Here are some things that I learned about marriage and relationships the hard way, so you don't have to. Number 1, never date or marry for potential. Future faking is a tactic of many abusive people. So beware of all those lofty promises of the future and date where they are now. Number 2, your partner trying to humble you as a mate retention strategy is a thing. Number 3, never move into a place, apartment, or house with your significant other that you can't afford to pay for on your own. Number 4, talk about money and how household chores and responsibilities are going to be divided before you move in with somebody. And if you can't get in alignment, don't do it. Number 5, keep the in-laws out of your business. Trust me, it becomes real messy real quick. Like, comment, and share for part 2.
I want to talk about how difficult it was to leave my marriage. It wasn't like all of a sudden rainbows and butterflies and everything's great. No, it's been 5 years of like up and downs and dealing with a lot of internal work to get where I am now. So I stayed in my marriage a lot longer than I should have because I was so worried about hurting my ex, about upsetting my parents or his parents, about losing my house, about losing my identity. And I didn't get married to get divorced. I'm like, I'm going to be a failure. And I literally thought that I could just push down my feelings for the rest of my life and just continue to live my life unhappily. But let me tell you, at some point, those feelings are going to surface and you're going to have to deal with them. Anyways, at some point, something just shifted and the pain of staying was so much more than the pain of upsetting him, of upsetting my parents and all the things I worried about. And I just had to do that. And I had to have that conversation with him that day. And I want to say that it probably took a year and a half of this like internal struggle of should I stay or should I go until I finally got to that moment. And as hard as it was to leave, my life is so much better now because I feel more myself and I feel free. And so if you feel stuck in a relationship and unhappy and you're in that internal struggle, I really want you to ask yourself, are you making this decision for yourself or to keep other people happy?